Hey, Mark, we're back with another edition of Questions with Mark, man. I love this. I love this segment. I love being able to learn with our viewers. I think we got a beautiful thing going here with this.
They tend to ask a lot of, it's amazing how many different questions there are in bowling.
It really
it's
is.
a kind of a simple thing you think, but there's so many things, the lane play and the bowling ball, lining up, your physical game, all that entails in that. So there's literally thousands of questions, and your people are pretty good at asking them. Unfortunately, I don't tend to stay on topic very well. I tend to veer off into shooting jump shots at Garden Grove High School. That's on me, but you don't want me. You guys don't want me being boring.
Bowling's a sport, though, man, and I feel like it's relatable in so many ways, and you never know who out there is going to be able to relate to something you say.
Well, hopefully, I'm saying something different that they've never heard. I just don't want it to be. I don't want it to be boring.
Mm-hmm.
I want it to be somewhat entertaining. Like when I give a lesson, I tend to be pretty up.
Yep.
I understand how hard you're trying, and I get that the questions mean something to you.
Yeah.
Especially now we got, there's two types of bowlers, I think. The hardcores, like me, 50 years I've been after this. I got the bowling bug, I got bit, and it's been there ever since. There's a lot of us. And then there's that newer bowler, 5 to 3 years less or less experience, and they're trying to catch up to all this. We talk about the old days, and they were pretty magical to us. As we get older, everything gets magical.
Yeah.
Or, hey, I'm new, great, cool, don't want to hear about it. How about now? I want to throw it like EJ Tackett. I get it. So there's two really big segments in our sport. The people have been around for a long time and they still love it, can't get enough. And the newer bowler that just thinks this is the greatest thing ever. So I think that's where YouTube and this type of stuff has helped them a lot. We're giving them something to go on. Instead of walking into a bowling center, I really enjoyed it, had fun. I don't want to throw a house ball. I want to learn how to hook it. And before, there was nobody to help you. Now, if you go on YouTube and like, hey, how do you hook a bowling ball? Well, you got about 6 months of viewing to go. So they find their part they like, and one of the parts they find sometimes is ours, and hopefully we're helping a lot of people.
We definitely are doing, I think, the bowling gods some justice, because I don't know if they would have got these answers otherwise.
Dude, these answers, the one thing we've always done that I really like about the Q&A thing is, I think the first time we did it, Pistol wanted to give me the questions up front, and then the answers stink. Because I already know what I want to say, and I'm trying to re-say it, and that doesn't work.
Yeah.
So I like the fact that they're just cold. You've never, ever given me a question since, and just what comes out, comes out.
Well, let's find out what
Hopefully
comes
it's
out.
helpful.
Let's see what.
If not, it'll be entertaining.
Let's see. It's always entertaining, though. I'll give you that for sure. So first question from one of our viewers. During my backswing, I open up my hand and have trouble getting it back. Is there a way to fix this?
Well, that depends. There's a lot of bowlers that have opened their hand. Tommy Jones, Brad Angelo, their hands open up and they bring them back down kind of naturally. That's something I never did as a bowler, so I wouldn't really know how to tell you as a coach. So what I do know, the easiest way not to open your hand up, I have people open their hand up and they don't close it, and they tend to miss right really, really fast.
For sure.
Or come over the top, is to always people tend to think about their bowling ball, their fingers and their thumb, their grip. I always thought of the bowling ball as a tool. So I was holding on to it the same place, but I was always more key. I think it's more about the middle of my palm. The middle of my palm stays here, I can't open up. So the middle of your palm goes towards the ceiling, you're gonna open up.
Yeah.
So you're feeling that, try to keep the middle of your palm, when you're in the top of your backswing, facing your target. If the middle of your palm stays at your target the whole way, your hand will stay much quieter. A lot of bowlers that are new are trying to do so much to it. They want to work the inside of the ball, so in their stance, they get way too far over here. Well, that's not how you walk down the street.
Yeah.
If I do this, my triceps tight. So, more relaxed grip, the ball here in my hand, I feel my palm is always going to my target. I rotate my palm at the end, but the ball sits in my palm in my mind. Now, I don't know if that's right or wrong. I do know, though, I never really tore my hand on tour, bowling 20,000 games in the 80s.
And you talked about your hand being quieter. Do you think that that's why?
Yeah, my ball was
exactly?
pretty quiet. That was, I guess I did pretty good at that. We never really talked about it. We didn't have, the difference now is there's YouTube or a VCR, or you can watch it over and over, and then you can stop and rewind it. When I learned how to bowl watching Mark Roth and Marshall Holman, the two guys that really made me get into being a pro bowler, it was on some little tiny TV set in the corner of the bowling alley on Channel 7 on Saturdays. And Mark Roth especially was like some mythical figure. He was basically the rock star for my era in the late 70s.
Gotcha.
He was Jimmy Page.
Gotcha.
He was only on TV for 10 frames, 8 minutes, and usually Nelson Burton was talking through one of them. He missed that shot, or then Mark won by so much they didn't show the 10th frame. So you didn't get to see him do it, and it was so fast, but there was no slow-mo rewind. We saw Mark Roth. But then I went to see Mark Roth the first time I watched him in bowl in 1978 at Keystone Bowl, and I got to see him in person. That's the best part about going to rock concerts.
Light bulb moment.
I went and saw AC/DC with my son Gage this year in April. You know, big Angus Young fan. It's great when there's 90,000 people there and he turns it on the first time, pays Black and Black to open the set. I mean, the whole roof came off and there was no roof. So watching Mark Roth to me in 1978 as a 7-year-old kid, that felt like that. Like, oh shit, in person it's even better. Oh, I got to try this for a living. I want all of that. Now I found out that wasn't the right thing to hope for. Because Mark Roth put a beating on me for a lot of years, and then Holman didn't. Holman had my number the whole 9 years we bowled on tour. I just couldn't. Marshall was just better than me.
Yeah.
But I got a chance to try that. So those guys did it different. So that's kind of how I see that. So we didn't get a chance to. You get to see it all in so much slow motion. Make sure when you're looking at your own video, don't get too enamored with a part that doesn't look right at a part that doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Too many people are like, well, my hand's in the wrong spot on the top. One of the pro bowlers that bowls really good this year sent me, virtual lessons. I don't have his permission, so I'm not going to say his name. It was last December. He had a really, really good year this year. My hand does this weird thing on the top, and I watched it, and I watched it, and I watched it. I went, but your hand does it every time. I would quit worrying about it because it looks like $1 million from you're inside the ball at your leg through release point. You're as good as anybody on tour there. I wouldn't worry about it up there because down here it's not doing that. So make sure what you're looking at the top of the video on the top of the swing does have a direct effect on your release. Too many bowlers, golfers have been famous for it. They're one of the best golfers in the world, and they see themselves on video or on TV like, oh, I hate my swing. I'm like, well, don't you like the check?
Yeah.
The check for $1.2 million was pretty good. Yeah, my swing's no good. So I've had a lot of bowlers that have tried to change their game because somebody said, well, that's wrong. I'm like, but you're the high averaging league. Yeah. You're averaging 230. So people all the time come to me like, I'm doing everything wrong. What's your average? 225. First thing I say, you can't be. 225, that means a 4-bagger and you're clean. Yeah. You can't do everything wrong. Yeah. If you are, you're sure doing it a lot the same way.
Exactly.
So that's what you got to be careful of. Sometimes people want to look good on video, but it won't make their score go up.
Yeah.
That's a very tricky thing.
Yeah. Classic, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Yep.
Next question. What happens when my left is my comfort zone and I have trouble going more right as a righty?
That's a very common thing. I mean, I hear it every day. I want you to move, because my bowling center tends, I oil the lanes every day. They tend to be a little bit tighter than most places. And some of the centers in Southern California hook a lot. There's one brand that owns a lot of bowling centers that don't tend to oil them a whole hell of a lot.
Yep.
So they just start out standing on 40. Like, well, that's what, are you shooting the 10-pin to warm up? No, I'm throwing the, well, that ain't gonna work here. Stand on 20. And they literally say, you mean the big dot? And I'm like, yeah, stand a little bit right. I don't do that. What do you mean? Well, I don't ever stand right there. So my theory to that is, if there weren't dots on the approach, people would move much faster.
Yeah.
But we get very used to looking down and seeing where we like to stand. I'm no different. If I can stand between 23 and 30, 35, I bowl really. I hate standing right at 20. Now I won 2 of my shows playing right at 10, but not my favorite place to play.
Exactly.
So as you move farther right, you like to play left. As you move farther right, I would imagine you probably have a lot of rotation, a high rev rate. You just have to work on your angles and getting your hand to get to roll up the ball as that funnel you're looking at from the lay down to your break point or your arrow to the break point. As that goes more right, it has to get straighter. So your release has to change a little bit to make that funnel work. Too many bowlers have a really good release and they tend to use it no matter what part of the lane they play. Very rarely is one release effective across the lane.
Exactly. I agree. That's a great explanation. So you might just need to learn how to roll the ball a little bit more. Whoever
part of it is how you see the lane. We all have our favorite places. We all see the lane a certain way, right?
Yeah, and you can get stuck in that for sure.
Or if you bowl at one center all the time, and you're going to become, everybody's a product of their environment.
Yeah.
No matter whether it's live or bowling, if you bowl somewhere and they oil at the same time and they have the kind of the same shot, you're going to get very adept at that. And then when you go somewhere else, or what usually happens is a pretty good bowler tries to bowl a sport shot, and they put down some crazy short pattern, and there's no option, but you got to slide right at 15 and you got to roll up the back of it. If you're not used to that, that's almost impossible.
Exactly.
Especially if it's 36 feet or less, because you can move in, there's no oil, it just goes dead left.
It'll make you appreciate the pros a lot more when you see that they can walk in any center and adjust, because
pretty quick.
It's definitely a part of the game.
So you got to, to me, it's like, the dots to me are like the freeway system of the Southern California.
Yep.
The 5, the 405, the 22,
what
the 91.
What are you going to take to get there?
Whatever freeway I got to get to, I'm taking.
Yeah.
Whatever Waze says or, Google Maps. I go to the San Fernando Valley once a month. and I always take the same way. I usually take the 91 to the 5, up the 101 to the 134, and I get to Winnetka. Every now and then it says take the 91 to the 405. I'm like, you got to be kidding me.
Yeah.
I got to go through West LA.
Yeah.
I don't ever go to West LA. Like, I don't ever go because that's where the traffic is really bad.
Yeah, 405 is a parking lot.
Well, the 91 out here in 91 East where I live is no day at the beach. But I'm like, okay, I'll try it. And it's like every 3 years I do it. Like once every 3 years. And I'm going to 91, I get on the 405 by LAX, and I go over there and I get to the high rent district. And I'm like, I haven't been here in like a decade. I haven't been by Culver City and UCLA in forever. But that's what it said, and that day it worked. So that me was playing first arrow.
Yep.
I do it like once a year, but man, it worked really, really good. I would never try it. I would never do it on purpose, but that day it worked.
Hey.
So I see where you play in the lanes, I just see it as a freeway system of LA.
I like that. Okay, next question. When I bowl, I look at the arrows, but I still use the dots to line up my shot. After I calculate my miss at the arrows, how would I adjust my target at the dots? My bowling alley doesn't have the range finders down lane, so I have a hard time visualizing my target back there.
That's tricky. The reason why I'm not a big fan of the front dots, not the dots of the foul line, but the front dots on the lane before the arrows, because they don't make mathematical sense. They're not in their math. There's 2 boards, 3 boards, and then once you get to like 15, there are no dots in the middle 15 boards. Yeah. So if you're playing fourth arrow, there's no dot to look at. Mm-hmm. So I've never liked the dots because they didn't make, the arrows are every 5 boards. The dots aren't mathematically right.
I never realized there's no dot in the middle.
There's no dot in the middle, and some dots have 2 boards and then 3 boards. So to me, the dots, being a geometry guy, my favorite class in school was geometry because everything had to be an answer. There was a theorem. So the dots don't do me well for mathematics, and I played a lot inside. So if I played in, what dot was I supposed to look at when there weren't any dots?
What purpose do those dots serve?
Don't know. They're on there. I don't know.
Very good question.
I don't know why the arrows are the range. They were originally called range finders.
Yeah.
So how to find your range. The part that's tricky to that question is when there's no down lane markers. On my video, I talked about it. Most bowling centers tend to have a scanner on the approach on the gutter
mile
cap.
Per hour. Yeah.
Yeah, that's where it tells you where your ball's going. You have the scanner. That tends to be at 49 feet 5 inches. So if you bring your eyes back 4 to 5 feet from there, it would be 45 feet. When I coach, that's where I put my tape, no matter where I go, 4.5 board, 9.5, trying to frame the back of the Baker box. That's what best I can do. As a coach, when I go to Winnetka, they don't have the downrange marker, and it takes me a while. Sometimes I just get like, I'll put some tape down here because I always see it too soon. Yeah, it's very tricky without the tape. Understood. Now the string pin lane's even worse because there's no scanner because they don't keep score that way.
Exactly. So
that's even, I have to figure that out when string pin takes over in 20 years.
That's interesting.
If I'm still grinding out these lessons.
No, you ain't gonna have to in 20 years. We got a retirement plan we're putting together, guys.
There we go.
Next question. Why does my hand get to the inside of the bowling ball at the top of my swing like Amleto Monacelli?
Yep.
Is this a good thing or bad thing?
Well, if you're referring to Amleto and your hand looks like that, another guy I didn't beat too often, Amleto was the real deal, man. He was one of the best bowlers of all time, and he was one of the first guys to really get his hand open on the top. I'd imagine Tommy Jones looked up to him a little bit to get his hand open at the top. Amleto was, unbelievably great timing, got his lower body, best shape of anybody. There's been some guys on tour who have been in great shape. Lonnie Wallachek, the dude Buss from the Middle East, or the Midwest. Jesse Buss was just a stone cold stud. Chris Vai, stud. Back in my day, there were some guys that worked out. But Amleto might have been in the best shape of the best bowlers of all time. So his legs were good, and his hand was special. I mean, remember I asked him one year we bowled in New Orleans, and he made a run to make the show, and it was quite we would get his pair. Every week he would make these runs to make the show. He just waited you out and he'd qualify fourth. Yeah. And then it was Steve Wunderlich, David Ozio, Dave Husted, and myself. So me and Wunderlich are the schleps in that group. Ozio and Husted are the top 50 of all time, and they deserve every bit of it. But Steve and I could bowl a little bit. Yeah. So we're on Amleto's pair, trying to emulate what Amleto's doing, and we can't do it. No. He's playing in the out of bounds, basically, throwing it at the gutter, and none of us can make it work. So then Amleto shows up like 40 miles later, and he's eating his yogurt. Hey, baby, what you doing? I said, dude, how did you play lanes like this? Very easy. I stand on the big dot, I throw to the gutter, come back every time. Immediately put my balls away and left, and I went and had beer.
You're
I didn't have no yogurts. I went to the beer. So he was so good at it, he would play in the out of bounds where nobody else on the tour would play but him. So if your hand looks like Amleto's on the top, now it'd be nicer if it looked like Amleto's on the bottom.
On the bottom too.
But that is not a bad thing. Amleto, my friend.
Yep, not a
Leone
bad thing.
Sinacci. That was his nickname. I remember that.
Amazing.
He was a good dude.
Shout out to Amleto. I use a 3-step approach. Anything else I've tried feels wrong and throws me off. How can I perfect my swing timing using the approach I've already got?
So 3 steps is very unique because you have to move the ball before you move your feet. Because you want the ball down like by your right knee in your second step, so you're not going to have a second step that way. So you push it out. To me, I mean, I don't teach 3 very often. I've actually been working on my son taking 3 steps because I think what Ethan Fiore does is really cool. And if you're two-handed and you got to get way left and throw it slow around the pattern, I think Ethan Fiore's figured out a pretty cool way to do it.
Yeah.
So we've worked on that with Gage, and it's definitely a project.
He's very long, so I imagine it's a little tougher for him to.
Trying to get that low, Ethan gets really low, but he's really cool at it. I watched it; it's very cool. But as a 3-step one-hander, you got to get the ball. In a 4-step bowler, I don't take 4, but you took 4. It kind of goes out here and it's kind of down here in 2, up in 3. Well, you're not going to have that first right step, so to me, it should look like that. So if you get where you move the ball, and you'd have to be like, for me, it would just be a visual thing. So if I took 3, it's hard to do. I have a hard, so you move it, and when it gets to, as it starts this downswing, I would just walk by it. So I get my legs ahead of it and get to time.
In front of it.
Yeah.
Got to get in front of it somehow.
That's tricky to gain ball speed, but if you go back in the day, a lot of bowlers took 3.
Yeah.
And I have, people that take 3 that walk in the door, I don't tend to switch them. Because what happens is what our bowler here is saying, if I try to take anything but 3, it feels terrible.
Yeah.
Now, I will tell you this. If you're taking 3 and you're going to change, you have to go to 5. Stay with the same start side. If you go 3 and try to do 4, it's impossible.
You got to think basically on
If
the
you're
opposite side
4
of your
and you
brain.
want to switch it, don't go to 5, go to 6.
True.
There's a lot of, Patrick Allen, Pete Weber, Norm Duke. I can stop right there. Those 3 guys, Barry Asher. I'll take that foursome. They all took 6. Mark Roth. Now I got my team of 6 steps. As good as anybody. That group, all studs, took 6 steps.
Great answer. Great answer. Next question. I am a full roller. Oh, we're going to skip that because we went through that in our last video. What is the breakpoint?
So the breakpoint's kind of the word is kind of misleading. Breakpoint denotes a spot. There is no spot. So what happens is if you use Specto, they say the breakpoint. Obviously how their cameras are looking at your ball going down lane, there's a specific spot on the lane where your ball starts changing direction.
Exactly.
That would be the point. But as a bowler throwing the ball, you're never going to see a point. So when I came up with the Baker box was specifically to deal with this, I gave you a window, 42 to 46 feet, 5, 6, 7, 8 board. I think if your ball starts changing direction anywhere in that 4-foot window, depth-wise, 4.5 boards, 5 boards, width-wise, that would give you the greatest chance to hit the pocket. And more importantly, the Baker box, what it's for the breakpoint, if you use those numbers, it gives you giant feedback.
Yeah.
Because you're getting your ball to a very specific zone down lane. So it's not so much a break point. Specto gives you the point, but you're never bowling with Specto in your back pocket. Yeah. Now, you do watch the pros when they're on TV. They throw it. They're all looking over the board now. Now they're because they get all the data.
Exactly.
I don't know if they're looking at the break point distance or the break point board or their ball speed or where they lay down the front. So I'm not sure which of the data they're all looking at. But you notice the pros are definitely looking there. Now, I'm not sure if they're making moves off that or not, but they're definitely looking at it. So as a coach, I'm trying to get you to see a very specific zone down lane in relationship to the head pin, because every great shot hooks in a very specific spot to get to that 6 degrees of entry angle. And that Baker box comes into play there. That's what I named it. But I'm a big believer in understanding the break point. Now, as a bowler, I couldn't tell you ever. I could tell you that's exactly where I wanted it.
Where you wanted it.
That's a little bit right of it. Don't 2-8-10. That's inside. Don't split.
It's a feel thing. You know what the good ones feel
right.
like.
Where that one, because David Ozio, who was a big numbers guy before I became a coach, he was probably the best coach, one of the best coaches of all time. But he got it when we actually bowled. I was all feel. He goes, "Are you playing 7-8 down lane?" "Sure, David."
Sure.
Whatever you say.
It's like when I was at the Masters a few years ago.
What was he talking about? The first time I ever heard the word breakpoint was Wayne Webb.
Oh.
We were bowling a regional in 1980 or 81 in Santa Maria, California. And Wayne won with throwing, and they were really, really pretty easy that day. So we were all throwing, I think we were all throwing angles. That was the ball. Earl threw whatever Earl threw. and then Wayne threw like a gyro, some ball that didn't hook. And we got done, and we're all like, he averaged 250 or 260. And it was like Wayne won. Great. I have the picture at home. Wayne wins. It's Frank Ellenberg, 6'6", me at 6'5" or 6'4", and then Earl at 6'2". So we put Wayne on top of the ball return. His trophy was big, so Wayne fit. But he's in the bar. We're like, how are you playing the lanes? Because you were like right of everybody, but your ball in the back was left. He goes, you guys weren't using the big spot at 45 feet for the breakpoint? What? What's that?
What are you talking about?
So Wayne was talking about breakpoints. He was the first person I ever heard refer to it. He goes, well, there's such a big patch of oil down there between 40 and 45 feet. As long as I was at 9, 10, 11, it couldn't go high. So I was just trying to throw it at 9, 10, 11 at 45 feet. Where's that? I mean, I didn't know what he was. I literally went, I got in the car like, I don't know what the guy's talking about.
The depth perception, too, from being
Wayne,
45
so Wayne
feet
to
away
me
from
might have
something.
been one of the smarter bowlers of all time that nobody gives him credit for.
Yeah.
Wayne deserves way more accolades than he's given. He was probably the best winner I bowled against on tour in my little 9 years on tour.
Wow.
Wayne Webb could flat win. And he can make it rolling it, and he can make it hooking it, and he wasn't afraid to try them both. Yeah. Wayne, if you're here in Columbus, dude, you were one hell of a bowler, brother.
He's an Ohio
really,
guy.
really good.
Shout out to Wayne.
He was. He doesn't get enough. He made a lot. I bet you he made close to 60. I bet you he made north of 50 shows.
Wow.
Not many guys have made that. And Wayne was really good.
That's incredible. Shout out to Wayne. I love these moments we get to recognize some of these great bowlers that probably didn't get quite the recognition.
It's just a different time. There's no more bowling papers, and
Exactly.
it's all current.
That's why we gotta use
it really
this
is. Some of the
machine.
most famous bowlers now. How do I say this nicely? Some of the most famous bowlers aren't
The best.
famous because they knock down the most pins.
Exactly.
But this phenomena of TikTok and Instagram and YouTube and all these different social media things. I mean, look at hey man, they elected a mayor doing that, didn't they?
Hey, I mean,
pretty wild stuff, brother.
I was gonna say
So
more
I
than
get
mayors
it.
are getting elected.
I'm 64, getting ready to turn 65. So this stuff's passed me by. Now Pistol's trying to tell me in the second half of my career I can become a YouTube sensation. So we'll see how smart you. Pistol
Oh
is.
yeah, I think you're.
I'm in
you
for
got
a world
head
of
start
hurt,
on
huh?
some people. You got a head start on some folks for sure.
Oh my God.
Oh,
Gonna
man.
get me out of retirement to do bowling videos. I can't believe I agreed to this. No more one shot a year. I might throw like 20 shots a year. All flat 10s, but there'll be 20 shots.
Hey, at least you'll know the adjustment.
No,
that
I'll
needs
let
to be
Pete.
made.
Pistol's good at editing. I'll get one strike in there every week.
Yeah, we'll make sure it looks good. Next question. Cannot find the coolest chamois for sale on your website. Can you post the link to the sales page, please? Thank you.
Wow, that was my friend Barry Asher. Convinced me to buy some chamois. Let me grab one here real quick. They're not on there. You're gonna have to. I don't even know how to do it. I mean, I got about 60
We will put
left.
a link on there for you.
Yeah, but I don't know how to. I gotta. Yeah, so
Mark Baker Bowling.
here's the deal. I know it's $20, and I'll cover the shipping.
Oh wow. Okay.
So there's gray, and there's blue, and there's black. I think I got maybe 60 left. I don't know.
Yeah.
I put them at the training center on the table.
Well,
and
get them while you can, guys, because
yeah,
they're gonna
so
go.
if you send me, it'll Mark at Mark Baker Bowling is Venmo at Mark Baker Bowling. Send me $20 and I'll ship it to you, and I'll get it to you within a week, I guess.
Hey, there you go. There you have it. You can
Hopefully
get
the
you the
shipping's not
Mark
more than
Baker
$20.
Bowling Shammy.
That's in the continental United States.
And make sure when you get it, you tag us in a picture of it.
Yeah, send me a picture of it. So I didn't know. I just did it because Barry told me to do it, and then it worked out pretty good. And I guess Pistol talked about it last time if people want one. So yeah, and if you guys like them, I can always order more.
Yep, we can figure that out. Make sure you click the link that we will have attached.
Yeah, send me an email. I want a chamois, black, gray, blue, or purple, I think it is.
Okay.
How many you want? I'll send you a link how to pay me, either Zelle or Venmo. Once I get that and your address, I'll go to the post office and fire that out to you.
Perfect. Next question. My biggest issue right now as a one-hand, no-thumb bowler is the timing between the end of my backswing, which I feel like is a little too far back or high, and the finishing of my slide foot. How can I work on perfecting this timing?
Well, I'd have to actually see that.
Yeah.
Because what you want to, because the tricky part of being there, which is very unusual what you said, because usually bowlers with no thumb of the ball tend to have very, very short and quick backswings.
Yeah, not high ones.
So high ones, it means you're really strong because you're holding the ball with your fingertips. And there's no anchor, your thumb. So there's, I've tried to do it, and it's, I couldn't do it. I can do it with an 8-pound ball. 15, I can't do it. Because you got to be pretty strong to get the ball to weigh in there.
Yeah.
So what you want to do is the same type of thing. If you look at Tom Doherty, the best, no two-finger, no thumb bowler, and then basically the only one, his foot gets flat. His swing is high push away, short backswing. My theory is the high push away kind of hides the ball for a long time because his backswing is going to be so short, he can't get it back there too soon because then he'd be early.
Yeah.
And the whole purpose of taking your thumb out of it is to hook it. And Tom's record's obviously amazing. He was on my Silver Lake Atom Splitters team for the last 6-7 years. I think we won twice together.
Yep.
So TD and I are good friends. I work with TD. I love how he does it. Now TD is strong as an ox.
He is.
So he does pretty good. But his swing is short because the length of his backswing is prohibited by no thumb. So you got to make sure when that gets there, you got to get your legs ahead of it before it comes down. If you get that swing coming down too soon, now I've never seen a two-finger, no-thumb bowler have late timing. So that would be very, very unusual for me to see that.
Yeah.
Because that means you're really strong.
Yeah.
Because you're hanging on to it up there. That's props to you.
Yeah, or you got to have huge hands where you're damn near
That would
palming the
be
ball.
another one, yeah.
Yeah. Shout out to the two-finger, no-thumb community, which is still growing rapidly. And
here it's amazing. There's traditional, all of us one-handers. Now a lot of my one-handers are trying the two-handed thing.
Yeah.
My oldest one is a guy I just gave a lesson to, my guy from Kauai. I think it's Mike. They were out here, him and his wife are so nice. Magda and Mike were out here from Kauai. They own the bakery shop in Kappa. And he was 71 years old and got into two-handed. So I told you I'd give you a shout out there, Mike, to my bakery guy.
That's amazing.
So he makes the best bread on all the islands.
Oh, man.
So
sure
Mike, there you
check
go.
that out.
Please be Mike. I know it's Magda. I know his wife's name was Magda. She couldn't have been nicer. They were such a nice couple. 71 years old trying two-handed.
Wow.
Now what I do see is all the kids try to bowl two-handed. Guys from the age of about 25 and older, they tend to go two-finger, no thumb. They've learned how to do it in a bowling center.
Yep.
Plastic ball or house ball, doesn't hook, strong guy. Holes are too big, so they're throwing a 13 or 14-pound ball instead of 15 because the holes are too damn big. So the holes are a little smaller on the lighter balls. They can manhandle it, hit it. Then they get their own ball, and it goes everywhere.
Yeah, they don't know what to do.
So there's that new segment, but it's a big, big growing segment.
And one of our very own, or one of the people leading that charge, Earl himself. And let me give a shout out to Earl, because Earl's been bowling his ass off lately. He's been averaging about a 235 over at our house.
No wonder he didn't show up no more. He got it all figured out. It has no use for Coach Bakes no more.
He had a 300 last week.
Congrats, Earl.
Yeah, he's been really doing it. And one of the cool things, like what you said though, is he's perfecting using his body. And the backswing isn't quite as high as I feel like a one thumb in bowler would be. But he's learned to make it work, and he's able to play all over the lane.
He's getting his legs in there. He's becoming more efficient. Remember, this never changes how I see it as a coach. There's how your body functions, and there's throwing a bowling ball. The pros are the pros because their bodies all function correctly as they happen to be throwing a bowling ball, so it looks easy. Most bowlers that aren't pros tend to bowl they throw the bowling ball in spite of how their body functions, so they fight consistency. In this day and age, to make a living as a pro bowler, you can't have bad days because there aren't that many days, and you can't have bad ones. So to be consistent, how your body function, their bodies tend to be great balance, great rhythm, all those things. See the accuracy? That's because their bodies are functional. Pros are very simplistic in how they bowl.
Yeah.
And that's throwing the bowling ball is easy. Most bowlers tend to do too much with it. They try too hard and do too much with it, trying to make it hook too much, in spite of how their body functions. So their balance and their accuracy aren't as good, where they say it is consistency.
Make sure you guys are writing that on your notepad if you're sitting watching this, because that was a golden nugget if I've ever heard one.
Easiest way I can explain it, balance is by far the most boring thing to work on during a lesson.
But
balance is by far the most effective thing to work on while you're taking a lesson.
And there you have it.
Because once the balance is good, the other things are just tweaks.
They almost
You're
fall into
trying to
place.
fix these things without balance. These are major problems, but the balance doesn't let you change it. Once your balance gets good, which usually means your timing's better, now we can start making the small little, wow, I took a lesson, we barely did anything different, but my ball rolled much better because we got your balance and your timing, is how I see it. I work on those two things, no matter who you are as a lesson. The first thing I measure is your timing and your balance.
Yep.
The better I get those two, now we can start making the small little tweaks, all these little tiny adjustments to get the desired result. Everybody starts with the desired result and they try to do it with other pieces in spite of these two.
It's
a tricky thing to do.
Yeah, there's an order that has to go for this to all.
For me, as a coach, it does.
Yeah, I feel like it's definitely true because I see and have those moments when I'm bowling where I try to put the wrong piece in first or adjust the wrong piece first, and you realize that you have to go back to timing. You have to go back to timing.
Because timing is so important because that's what creates your accuracy.
Exactly.
If you don't have accuracy, I don't care how good your release is, because it's not going to be in the right spot at 45 feet. It's irrelevant. Mm-hmm. It's like saying I hit the ball 300 yards off the tee. So what are you a 6 handicap? Well, I don't play much. I just go to the range and I go watch them like, oh, you can't keep it in the range.
That's why.
It's 300 yards. I'll give you that. But that one was on the street, and that one just took out a guy's house. Yeah, we're good. How far do you hit it? I hit it about 2 1/4. I got an old man over. What Dave Husted called that? The old man overspin. I can hit a little short draw, and I hit it about 180, and it rolls another 40.
It's gonna roll.
So 220 in the middle. I mean, you usually hit about a 7-iron in. I can get a 5 on every hole. That's still 90.
That'll get you there.
It makes me come back and play again.
Yep, much easier highway, as you would say.
That's why I like going to Hawaii. The fairway's a little wider, the greens are bigger, and I got lucky, and the lava kicks my balls out every time.
Thank you so much, Mark, as always. Anybody out there, if you guys have questions, anything that you guys want to have answered, we do our best to try to answer them. Mark is a busy guy, so make sure if you guys want lessons, you are tuning in and tapping into him at markbakerbowling.com. Get your virtual lessons. Come in to see him. He has a lot of moving parts coming up in these next couple months, so make sure you get in while you can. I cannot stress that enough. I feel like the holiday season will be a little bit busier for you.
Yeah, and I'm done. I think my last lesson of the year will be a very personal lesson. It'll be my man Mika Koivanemi. Mm-hmm. He's got the last spot on the 23rd, so I always like ending my end of my year, and that's one of the greatest bowlers of all time, and what a pleasure to work with. I mean, just, man, can he bowl. I can't wait to see what he's got to work with him. I feel like he owes me way more than he's going to pay me. The amount of candles I have bought from his daughter that are sitting in boxes in my houses that haven't been put on fire yet. I mean, I got a few of those candles.
You should burn some of them this holiday
No,
season.
my wife's on the we're good on the candles. Mika's a great guy. So I know I'm coaching till 4 o'clock on the 23rd, and I'm probably not coaching again till the beginning of the year. Okay. But again, the virtual lessons have taken off again. I try to always get them done within a week of receiving the videos. They just get, doing the 30 or 40 lessons a week here, and then the videos come in there. I try to get to them all, having a family. But I just want to thank all your bowlers for all the people have come to the training center in the last 4 years. It's been amazing because a lot of people walk in the door. I've seen every video you've ever done. And I always take that with a grain of salt because I'm not a YouTube guy. Mm-hmm. I'm like, okay, whatever you say. And then during the course of a lesson, they can recite me to me. That is eerie. And they're so happy. They love the videos. So obviously, however you guys, the questions you're asking and how you're editing is worked out very well. So like the part of this community, I really do feel cool to be part of 64 coming up on 65. And I'm still part of YouTube. Maybe Pistol, I had some ideas to make it even get a little bigger next year. Because, I got one goal. I'm only going to do this about another 9 years. Yeah. 75, I'm out no matter what happens.
Hey.
So I got 10 years, and I got a lot of, you see, these questions, I got a lot of information. I just want to help the most bowlers.
We got to get it out of that head of yours before.
Oh, you got to, or else I'm going to go insane, one or the other. Yeah, because I got to get it out because there's too much in there.
Yeah.
But you can tell I really enjoy it.
Yeah.
It's, I'm 65. I've been coaching now for 16 years, and this might be my busiest year ever. Every year it gets a little busier, and it's crazy how that works. But there's just so many bowlers that want to get better.
And more coming into the sport.
There's a lot of different coaches out there. I have nothing to do with being the best coach. I like being the busiest coach. I do like to be busy. It makes my day run better. When I'm busy today was, my camp sold out, virtual lessons, you guys coming in. I got a couple lessons later. My son's going to come work on his game. See, to me, that's a very productive day. It's complete chaos, but I do well in chaos.
Yeah.
I don't do well when I don't do anything. Mm-hmm. So I really enjoy that. So all your bowlers have taken the virtual lessons. I know a lot of it is from, it says, internet. I really appreciate it. The virtual lessons have made me a much better coach because I got to be able to verbalize what I'm doing by seeing 4 or 5 shots and what the notes you put down. I got to find a way to get you guys better. And it seems to have worked out very, very well.
And we thank you for it. And
it's a blast.
Sure the bowlers do. They thank me for you all the time. Well. So thank you guys out there for continuing to support. And, we, as always, are going to try to give you the best information that we can. We just try to keep it real here, Mark. That's at the end
it's a lot of fun.
And we'll continue to do that. So thank you
Sounds
as
good.
always.
Thanks, everybody.
Until next time.